So how unintelligible does something have to be before it is
unintelligible?
Hey folks, it's Freddie from Nugent Audio here, inside in a dark windowless room on one of the hottest days of the year to talk to you about dialogue intelligibility. So dialogue intelligibility, speech intelligibility, or to put it in layman's terms, is a pretty hot topic at the moment. And the reason for that is that it's one of the most common audio-related complaints that TV networks and video-on-demand streaming services receive. Depending on what data you look at, roughly about 50% of people prefer to watch TV and films with subtitles switched on. And obviously, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's really helpful for people who are hearing impaired. It's helpful if you're watching in a less than ideal listening environment. But ultimately, as audio professionals, what we really want is for our speech to be intelligible. And so because of that, you probably know about a year ago we released a plugin called DialogCheck, which is a dialogue intelligibility meter. It's designed to go on the end of your mix bus, and it gives you an objective measurement of how intelligible the speech is in your mix. Because the thing is, when you've heard a mix 20 times, 30 times, 100 times, however many times it is, of course it's going to sound intelligible to you. So this is just a bit of a fail-safe. It also means you get a bit of an ego boost when it turns out that actually, yes, your mix is very highly intelligible. But today, I'm also going to talk about Dehumaniser, which is behind me here. If you're watching this video as soon as it comes out, then we're doing a deal with Krotos at the moment. The details of that will be in the description below. Dehumaniser, if you're not familiar with it, is a plugin that you can use to create monster voices and robot voices and other weird creature voices. So how unintelligible does something have to be before it is unintelligible? So I've got my identical twin brother, who happens to be wearing the exact same clothes as me, in the vocal booth. How are you doing in there? I'm doing good, thanks. How are you, identical twin brother who is also dressed exactly the same as me? Good, good. Yeah, I'm all right. Are you ready to give us a phrase? We're going to loop this phrase, put it through Dehumaniser with a bunch of different presets, see what happens. Are you ready? All right, here we go. She sells seashells on the seashore. Wow, that seems like an odd choice of a phrase to say for someone with a lisp, but who am I to judge? So yeah, what we're going to do is cycle through some presets in Dehumaniser, and then after that, we're going to run those through DialogCheck and see how intelligible or unintelligible each one is. Of course, this isn't a real-world example. This is just a pure voiceover. Ordinarily, you would have music, you would have ambience, you would have Foley, you would have effects. There'd be all kinds of other things going on. Okay, so we are bypassed. We're going to hear the voice as it was. And then the first preset we're going to have is Big Guy. So yeah, here we go. She sells seashells on the seashore. And now here's Big Guy. I've always wanted to be a big guy, but I'm cursed to be a little guy.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
Dreams really can come true. Let's go for something a bit more wild. Let's have Demented Ghost.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
And maybe even wilder still. How about Lobster Man? I don't know about you, but I understood that perfectly. Maybe something a little bit more sensible again. Here's Ancient Werewolf.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
I am quaking in my boots. And finally, let's go for Mrs. Magpie. Frankly, that is incredible. So the next thing we're going to do is see how all of those match up through DialogCheck. So DialogCheck is going to be doing two things. It's first of all going to be figuring out whether or not it thinks it's hearing dialogue. And then if it thinks that it is hearing dialogue, then it's going to give that a score between 0 and 100. So I've deliberately not shown you the DialogCheck scores at the same time. I could have done, I chose not to. Let's go through them and see. Maybe keep in mind which you think is going to be most intelligible or least intelligible. Are there any that you think won't register as a voice at all? Let's find out. So I'm going to run each of these through DialogCheck. I'm going to reset the meter between each one so that we get the median clarity specifically for each version. And yeah, maybe try and keep in mind if there's any that you think are going to score especially highly, any that you think aren't going to register as dialogue at all. So yeah, let's hear just the voice, first of all. She sells seashells on the seashore. 93.7. Pretty good going. Pretty good going. Big guy.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
That's lower than I expected. 58.4. Still dialogue though.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
I'm impressed that that actually registered as dialogue full stop. That was Demented Ghost, 50.1. Poor Lobster Man. You might have noticed some of the momentary clarity was up there, but overall...
She sells seashells on the seashore.
63.4. That's better than Big Guy. I'm surprised by that. And again, Mrs. Magpie. Got to take the L on that one. Worst of the bunch. But the point is, you might use this in a situation where you do have a robot or a monster or a creature who has dialogue in something you're working on, and you want to get that balance right between the creative intent. You want a character to sound like the character, but you also want to make sure that that dialogue is translating. You want to make sure that people watching can follow the story, they know what's going on, because if they can't follow the story, if they don't know what's going on, then they're going to stop watching and they're not going to recommend it to their friends and no one's going to watch the show. And I mean, where's the fun in that? I want to watch your show. So thank you very much for watching. As I said, details are down below for the offer that we're doing with Krotos at the moment. I'm going to go outside in a minute. It's really hot.